welcome back to This Is Knit on a really windy and miserable Saturday afternoon. I hope you are doing okay wherever you are. If this is your first time joining us, then just to let you know basically what we've been doing during this lockdown 3.0 in Ireland is asking you to submit questions to us during the week. And I get to as many as I can here and kind of show you around some of the stuff that's new, some of the stuff that I'm excited about, and we have a chat about pattern inspiration, yarns, basically all things kind of knitting and fibercraft related, which is great fun. I grab a cup of tea and I enjoy having a chance to catch up with everybody, which is great. Hello to everybody who's joining. I would like to, Ashling's here today as well. Actually, she's sitting outside, so she's giving me a hand, which is the first time because we haven't done that for a little while, so that's nice. And Jenny is going to, she's lined up to come in next week as well, and we might get her on as well to help you choose some colour combinations if anybody wants to do that. Lots to talk about today. Questions. I've got 2 pages worth of questions, so thank you to everybody who has submitted bits and pieces to us. It's great. It just really, I spend all of Saturday morning kind of tearing around the shop. The time goes by super fast, but I get to kind of pick and choose little bits and pieces and suggestions of colours and things like that to show you. So I will jump right in. If you do have any extra questions, feel free to ask them away in the comments. Depending on how the time goes, we'll see if we can get to those as well. If we can't, Sarah is watching and she was going to collect some more questions as well for next week. So I have some rollover from last week that I'll do as well. Okay, so Sarah Hiltons said that she would love to do an ombre for her next pattern. But she just needs 800 yards of fingering weight yarn. So she was referring back to some of the fades that I showed last week, and I had some like 5 skein fades on display. But in the case of an 800 yard ombre, you'd be looking at, that would only be generally about 2 skeins of a fingering weight, 200 gram skeins. So immediately went instead, because you do want to do a little bit more within the 800 yards that you have, to the 50 gram skeins from Earth Yarns, and they do these little gradient sets like this that are completely, like, they're so set up and ready to go. Okay, so here's your ombre. The colors, as you can see, progress from one to the other, and that's an 880 yard pack, and they're all up on the website as merino gradient sets. So there's some blues, some purples, yellows, there's greens, and then there's also a black to grey finish as well. So I thought that was the best one for getting more bang for your buck in a smaller gradient project, is something like these little 50 gram skeins, and then you can play with those. Now, okay, so that was a very quick one. You could also, if you were feeling like you didn't mind having a few leftovers, is go ahead and use some of the gradients that I suggested last week, but you'd obviously be using only about, if you've got 4 skeins, half of each skein. Make one for you, make one for a friend. It's kind of the solution. Cool. Okay, so that was number 1 question. I'll fire on to the next one. I would love to do a knit along, and have you any plans for one? Yes, there is a knit along coming, and we want to tell you more about that next week, if that's okay, or during the week. Hi Jen, sorry, Jen is folding laundry and I'm keeping her company. I'm delighted to be doing that. I'm delighted you're the one folding laundry right now and I'm talking to you. I do enough of that during the week. So yes, so Sinead Horse was saying she'd love to do a knit along. Have we any plans for one? A light summer cardigan or a jumper? We're seeing a lot more inquiries for spring and summer patterns. So I like that you guys are looking ahead to that, and I have a few suggestions for you later on. She says that she's never knitted one before, but would love to, and she's a bit daunted by the thought. A knit along might encourage her and make her feel braver. So the knit along that's immediately coming, that we're going to talk to you next week, is not, it's for a smaller project, it's not for a garment. We will have more coming down the road, but it's not immediately planned. So if you did want to start your first garment, my interim solution for you would be to go on and take the Dacite cardigan course, the digital course that we have paired up with Carol Feller and to offer, because she talks you through your first top-down knit, and it is a kind of a layered cardigan made in a 100% wool yarn. But I mean, if you're based in Ireland, I'm actually not sure if you are. Yeah, spring, summer, I would always still be reaching for my woolly cardigans in the evening too. So that's one idea. Bear with us on the other knit along things, because we've got some other collaborations and things planned. So stay tuned for that. Lots of people going yay for a knit along. So bear with us is all I can say for today. Let me see, I'm going to come back to that one. Could we please have the spring summer knits ideas? Okay, so I pulled a couple of things from the shop, and I also ended up printing off a couple of pictures of ones that I couldn't find the samples for. So spring summer bits and pieces. We're going to get together with the team and come up with a few more kits for the website on those. So basically stay tuned and keep an eye out, because we do have some really nice new spring summer yarns, and then one that we've had from last year as well. So this was one that I wanted to show you again, which is the Camarose Ökologisk Summer Old. I'm absolutely butchering the pronunciation of that, but it's an organic summer wool is the way that, which again for Ireland, perfect. So it's 70% organic merino wool and 30% organic cotton, the wool is all muslin free, all of that good stuff. Comes in some really gorgeous shades, because that's Camarose. And you can make, going to dip over here to the samples, something like a short-sleeved version. Any of those gorgeous yoked sweaters and stuff out there, make them short-sleeved. Voila, spring. And knit them in, obviously, yarns with a bit of cotton or plant fibre. I'm laughing at Woolly Bits. It's the cowl pattern you're wearing, virus inspired, that just came across my view. No, it's not. It's the Narbeth cowl by Alex Bird, and it's beautiful. I can see how you might think so. Just be careful about the colours. Don't do it in how do they represent the coronavirus? Like red and purple? No, green. Yeah. So no, but I might take it off now, actually. So this is absolutely, yes, thanks. Patricia says that this is absolutely beautiful to work with. It really is. So that is New Leaf by Jennifer Steingass. New Leaf, all one word, if you're looking for it on Ravelry. And Jackie made this, and she just made it short-sleeved for the spring. And it comes in lots of lovely colours. There's a few more kind of springy ones to show you. So they are very nice, and you can play around with that. Then we did show this the first week that we were on, but this is, you might be able to see the texture of it a little nicer. It is Pearl Strings by Heidi Kirameyer. Again, on Ravelry you'll find that pattern, and that is knit in Rosaria Sport Belmonte, which again is a merino wool and cotton blend. I like those blends. I like them. They're a little bit more elastic to work with than pure cotton, and you get that sort of full season out of them, I think, where you can wear them not just during the warm or the colder weather or the warmer weather. They're flexible, okay? You can wear them anytime. So that's Belmonte, and there's a lot of other lovely colours, and they're all sort of marled like that, and then they knit up into really nice textures. So that was some of those suggestions of what I had to show you. Patterns or the examples I couldn't find. This guy here is Chicane by Jimmy Knits, and it's one of my favorite kind of spring summer knits that I've made. It's got a lovely lacy pattern on it, very easily memorized lace pattern, and I love the sort of the dolman sleeves and the very slouchy finish to it. I'm actually making another sort of slouchy dolman-y thing at the moment. It's Belle by Coconuts, so it's obviously a style that I go for. But this we did a knit along for a couple of years ago. So for Sinead Horse, who was looking for some guidance and some like a walkthrough of first sort of spring summery knit, there's a good resource and backlog of advice and tutorials on our blog. So all you have to do is search what did I just say this pattern was called? Chicane. Thank you. I should have written it down. So have a little search of chicane on our website, and you'll come up with all the old blog posts with how to do your shaping and how to do shaping. There was a few other bits and pieces. Yeah, shaping and lace and following charts and things like that. So there's some really good tutorials in the archives. We've been around a while. We're 15 years old this year. I can't believe it. So in June of this year, it's going to be 15. The name of that slouchy one, Chicane by Jimmy Knits, Jimiknits, and you can find her patterns on Ravelry. She's also a super, super lovely person. Hi, Jimmy, if you're out there. The second one was a sample that we had a while back. I'm hoping that you can see the cabling on the front. So I wanted to choose a few different styles for you to kind of inspire, depending on your own style and your own tastes. So that is called Bennett Creek. Bennett Creek. Oh, sorry, I don't know the name of the designer actually. I should have written that down. But that is super lovely, and I wanted to suggest a yarn for that and for chicane actually. I got a table in front of me this week. I'm just trying to move around and figure out the best place to do these. So this came in. Yay, new yarn during the week. It is Krempke Morning Salutation. I think Caroline is on there. Hi Caroline, if you're watching, who was extolling the virtues of this yarn to me for a little while. So Krempke Morning Salutation, it's a vegan yarn. It is cotton and lyocell tencel. Comes in some very, 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 very nice shades. I just picked out a kind of collection of blues, but if you pop onto the website, you'll see there's loads more options. So they would be really well suited to chicane and to Bennett Creek, to both of these designs, if you wanted to make a nice 100% plant fiber or non-woolly, non-animal based, because of the vegan yarn. So they're lovely, and you can probably see there's just a little slight marled effect in a lot of the shades too. So that's spring summer knits and inspirations. Hopefully that's an answer, because we did have, I think, about 2 or 3 people asking for those. So the answers are more knit-alongs are coming, not necessarily garments on the agenda just yet, but keep an eye out. And there's a few spring summer bits. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Just trying to pick out my favorite ones now. Somebody was asking what my favorite book in the shop is at the moment. A couple of things on that. My favorite book is still 52 Weeks of Socks, even though I have yet to make any of them. I just think it's beautifully photographed. It's such a gorgeous collection. Masses and masses of inspiration there, and I can't believe that it was released basically almost a year ago. It just keeps, 52 Weeks of Socks, knit socks all year round, so it just keeps being like consistently popular and amazing. The other thing is that it's not in yet, but I'm extremely excited to see The Strands of Joy, also from Lina. So that's coming very soon, and it's on pre-order on the website too. But like all of the previews of it are absolutely beautiful. So loads and loads and loads of inspiration, lots of stranded colorwork patterns. Hopefully not virus inspired ones, but have a look at the previews on the website and see what you think. And then we are short on books because one of our deliveries has been delayed, another one, but we should see more coming through. I'm hoping that they'll arrive next week as well. So that's a kind of quick book update. Let's see. Snazzy. Someone's asking for new snazzy colorways in Townhouse, particularly in the DK base. Jenny, we had a point maybe early last year where we were saying to Jenny, you can't keep making new colorways because we have to discontinue some of them. And then of course, COVID hit and she didn't get as much time in the dye studio. So not that she actually listened to us, it's just she didn't have the opportunity to do more experimentation. But yeah, new colorways are coming. Specifically, there's one being developed at the moment for a very special collaboration that I'll be able. There's so many plans. It's great. So there's a particular collaboration that's coming a little later in the spring. and that's been worked on. And then as soon as she gets a bit more time in the studio, yeah, we've said go on, make some new colorways. So stay tuned. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's good. It's good to have stuff to look forward to. So that was ISBTKWK. Hello, if you're out there. I'm not sure how to say your name. So that was that one. We've had some requests for Nordic yarns. Somebody else looking for Nordic yarns. Let us know what brands you might be interested in. Can you show us the cobweb lace? A couple of people looking for a better look at the cobweb lace, so I'm going to pick up the phone at the end and bring you over just to have a look at that. I was looking at, this is the colour that I am doing my bell from Coco Knits in, and I was thinking about adding this. Let's see if you can get the shiny shine. Come here, focus. Okay, I'll hold it out here. I was thinking about adding this into the cuffs and the hem of my bell, just to kind of add a bit of sparkle in there. So yeah, I'm going to swatch it. And see what happens. But anyway, I will show you more of the cobweb lace and the Stellaris in a wee minute, or in a few minutes. Okay, talking about popular patterns. The Winter Beach cardigan by Andrea Maury. Of course, anything Andrea does is just like instantly the world goes crazy, because she just has such a big following, and rightly so. Her stuff is beautiful. So the original Winter's Beach cardigan was using a DK weight tweed from Hedgehog Fibres with some multicolour neps, some recycled bits of the cut-offs of their yarn. And I think that we could use the really traditional Donegal tweed. So this is Donegal Wool Spinning Company here, but this particular grey, it's almost something that I hadn't properly taken on board, is just how many beautiful colours are in it, until somebody was asking for an alternative for that. So you've got blues and magentas and greens in there. So that particular shade I think would work really nicely, because it's quite a cabled and detailed design. You do want something that's not too dark. Like there's purple there as well. I think you'd still see the cables in that, but you'd see it more so, I think, in that grey. So there's a couple of greys in that range. So it's colour number 3758 is the one that I think is closest to the one that Andrea used. But that's basically all of these. This middle section here is Donegal Wool Spinning Company tweed. And I think swatch away, you know yourself, just to make sure that you're getting attention, because they say that this is 20 stitches to 10 centimeters or 4 inches, but just make sure you're matching what Andrea got for that pattern. But definitely that would be the best one. And also the Irish Artisan Yarns Tweed DK is coming back into us. It's probably going to be middle of February, middle to the third week in February before we have that. But that's coming, and that would be an option then as well. It's a lot more multicolored though, so I definitely think for the moment that one there. And okay, let me see, will I take some on the fly? Hello from Washington, hello from Dublin, how are you? Everybody just saying hi, it's nice. And from Vancouver, for a teenager, you're behaving well. Great. Okay, I think I've got people there. Lovely. Yeah, the tweed is beautiful. We've used it for a good number of different samples around here over the last while, and it's a big favourite. Some more of those. Rhonda was asking me about tips for Mobius cast on, because she was working on the Glentees cowl. I didn't see a reply back because I was looking for a bit more information about where exactly she was finding or running into the trouble. So Rhonda, if you're there and you replied before I went live, I'm sorry, I just didn't see it. Sorry. But the name of the darker colour for Wilbur and Winnie, this one, it's just numbers, so it's 3708 is this darker shade. I hope that's the one that you meant. There is a lighter grey, but the darker of the greys, and that's the one I showed you, is 3758 in that. So yeah, tips for the Glentees cowl. Persistence. So it could just be, I mean, you want to be working on quite a flexible circular needle. That'd be one thing. That when you go to work that first round, it is extremely tight and awkward. That first round and a half of the Mobius knitting, you think you're doing it wrong because you're just like, no, this is never going to happen. But as you progress into the main fabric, it starts to all take shape. And just be super careful if you have gotten to the point where it's all cast on, and then that's where things are going wrong, is that you don't change. It's a garter stitch in the round design, and you don't change from knit to purl until you see the marker, extremely important, up on the tips, until you pass the marker from the tip of one needle to the next. When we do the classes here, an awful lot of the times, because your needle is looped inside, there's essentially two circles looped inside each other when you're working the Mobius. And a lot of times people see the marker pop up on the cord that's below where they're working, and then they switch over to purl, and then you get a kind of, one side of it is stockinette and the other side is reverse stockinette, and it starts to look wrong. So make sure you're only changing from knit to purl and then from purl to knit when you switch the marker from one tip to the other tip. I hope that helps Rhonda, but your message afterwards, and we can talk about that. Bought recently one skein of Ullen Donegal DK, looking for something similar weight for colour work. The Townhouse Yarns Drury DK would be perfect for working in with that, and I think it's essentially the same meterage as well, so 212 to 100 grams. So Drury, D-R-U-R-Y, Drury DK. Thanks, Bazia Koba. I'm never sure if I'm saying people's names right, so sorry again if I'm messing that up. Now, so Maru knits. So do we have Chow-Goo shorties for knitting sleeves? The answer is yes. And underneath some of these piles here is, okay, so we have it essentially in two different formats. One is the fixed knit, the red circular needles rather than the red lace. So you're very welcome, Bezia. So that's the red circular needles. They're up on the website as 23 centimeter length, and that would be your length for sleeves. As you can see, the tips are very short on those, and that's what helps you kind of make the super small circle. So if you wanted them on the interchangeable side, we may not have the 4-inch lengths in all of the sizes at the moment, so let us know what size you're looking for if you do want the interchangeables, and I'll try and get them in as soon as I can. But if you're going to make those, there is a 20 centimeter or 8-inch cable on the website, and you really want to be using that with the 4-inch tips, not the 5-inch tips, again, just so that you're able to bring your needle tips around and knit comfortably in a circle. So we have some interchangeable versions. Hi, nice to see you, Maru. And we have the fixed circulars with the super short tips on there. Do you need two of those short circulars for sleeves? No, this length, Lita, you can just use one. You don't need that. Yeah. Now you end up, you're kind of knitting quite like in the middle of the circle. I've heard about some people knitting inside out, actually. That could possibly work. But yeah, no, you'd only just need the one to go around. And some people, like, if it's not your bag and you'd prefer just to have more space to move your hands around, then you could go for two. But then there's no reason to get the super short ones. Just use maybe ones that you have already, and that would do that job. Okay, glad to help. Yeah, we're flying through them today. I liked this. Somebody came up with a really creative question. And so it's Adventures in Stitchery. She said, was there a yarn that languished for ages until a sudden flash of inspiration matched a pattern? And I was like, that's nice. That's a good chatty question. So yes, there are still yarns languishing for ages in my stash that are still awaiting that flash of inspiration. But the one that I could think of was a skein of yarn that I dyed over when with with Jenny in the studio. I'm drinking peppermint tea. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so I dyed like, this was very like rushed, but I hadn't dyed yarn in a long time, and I said, oh come on, I'd love to just kind of give it a go and make a colorway up. And so under some guidance, we ended up making a colorway called Twisted Sister on a couple of skeins of Dame 4-ply, which is was a merino and silk blend. So that whole range has since been discontinued, but I'd like to make the color again on maybe Fade Street or something. And I was struggling because it was like it was really special to me, because it's like the first color that I'd made and had fun with. So I was trying, okay, well, I just have the one skein and I'll make it into a cowl. I had a hokey pattern that I cast on and got so far with. And then I went to Edinburgh Festival and once again saw so many gorgeous Zweig sweaters. If you're familiar with it, it's ZWEIG, Zweig sweaters, and I just keep seeing them at yarn festivals and I absolutely love them. So in the end, I took that skein of Twisted Sister and I mixed it with Camden tweed, and made just one of my favorite sweaters of all time. And I'm very glad that that's what that became. And I don't have it to show to you because I only came across this question this morning, but I'll make a note to bring it in next week to show. So yeah, definitely something that I'm really pleased when the planets aligned. It was exactly the perfect color for that. Anybody else? Any particular special yarns in your stash that you made something out of when it spoke to you? Tell me and let us know. We'll have a chat about it. And I hope you enjoy your tea, woolly lover. So I bought Irish Artisan yarns at This Is Knit, and I was struggling to gauge, is it a bit heavier? Yeah, Irish Artisan yarns, the DK tweed that we had is a double knitting rather than a fingering weight. So if you were using 3.5 millimeters, unless you are a particularly tight, loose knitter. God, this always gets me when I'm on the spot. Yeah, it depends, Avril, on what you're trying to make and what the pattern was calling for. What gauge is it asking for? Because the DK tweed would be 22 stitches to 10 inches on 4mm needles, I think, off the top of my head. But let us know more about what you are trying to make. You should probably be in and around on 4mm. Again, depending on your pattern. We were talking last week about making all three of those match. What yarn do I recommend for the Pearl Soho half triangle wrap? I will have to look up that pattern, and if Sarah doesn't mind making a note of that, then we can talk about that next week, as long as we're not in a big rush for that. Zweig is beautiful. It is. It's a fabulous design. And you've made 3 of them, Cressy. Chrissy, wow, lovely. Yeah, they're a bit addictive. I do like that. Thank you, Sarah, for taking notes. She's great. I love this remote working. Tried 4mm and you got 20. And Avril, are you trying to get 22 and the 3.5's not working for you? If you could tell me that, that'd be great. You have to just keep playing around, I think, on that. And let us know what pattern you're working towards. That'd be cool. Okay, I saw. Oh yeah, Woody, thank you. I answered your question about the favourite books in the shop at the moment. So that was fun. I liked that question. Yes, 22. We should be okay then. It depends. I mean, sometimes different fibre contents, different needle materials that you're working on can make your tension vary quite a lot. So I don't know when you were using the 4mm, if it was a different needle type than you'd usually use or anything like that. But do keep going. I would say if you were getting 20 on 4mm, you should easily get 22 on 3.5. But check that you like the way the fabric looks as well at that point. Are you actually, Avril, did you say you were holding it doubled? Somebody asked about that pattern recently and they were holding the yarn doubled, so just want to check that. I've got people answering other people's questions. Thank you for that. I think that's Agnes, is it? Donegal Darney would be perfect in the half wrap shawl, according to Agnes. Thank you. That sounds great. I love Donegal Darney. It's a fantastic yarn to work with. Yeah. suggestions? Okay, oh yeah, I've got a really good one. Hang on, more tea first, and then I want to talk about Zoetic, because this was a leftover question from last week, and I wanted to make sure that I got to it this week, and I've got some really nice colours to show you. Okay, tea away. So, let me get the names right. How did I not write this down? Hang on. Oh yeah. It's Des Anderson 68. I know your proper name. And that's gone as well. But anyway, we were messaging just before this because of Zoetic options. Okay, so it was only through this query, I think back before Christmas, that I realized there was actually a color called Zoetic in Ullin Socklight, which I didn't know that before. So I've made the Zoetic sweater in greens. Debbie, hi Debbie, sorry. But there's a colour called Zoetic, which I believe obviously would be the original one that Tiffany Lynn used. And so we got it into stock. So it's super, super, super pretty. It's got lovely peaches and purple tones and this lovely fresh kind of aqua shade. So with pretty speckles. So Debbie was asking about what types of fluff we had to go with it that would look really nice in a Zoetic sweater. And I figured that we can go along the pinky tones or along the aqua tones. Okay, so let's dive in and see what comes out first. Right, so in my version, I'll take off the virus cowl. Alex Bird is going to be upset about that. So that's the Narbeth cowl, in case anybody was looking for that, and that's knit in Walcott Yarns Opus. But back to Zoetic. I used one colour of Ullin Socklight doubled in the herringbone around the collar and the bottom half of the sleeves and into the cuffs. Love the herringbone there. And then in the main body, it was one strand of this, one strand of Fade Street 4-ply, and one strand of Camarose Manastrale, which is the one that has the bit of glitter in it. Okay, so what I did when we were going along the aqua tones of this was I picked out the Fade Street 4-ply in Micromanage and the Adrofill Kid Seta in shade 84. Okay, so that's putting a more aqua finish on the whole thing. Okay, hopefully you can see all those colors nicely. Things are going a little bit yellow there. Okay, so that was one line of inquiry. So the second one is to pick up more on those beachy, I was trying to say peachy beigey and came up with beachy. That's okay. Peach, beige, pink tones. And so there was Sir Davos in Fade Street and either, yeah, Midnight Sol in colour 9520, which is Lys Poudre. Hang on. So that's those guys. More peachy, beigey. So that's Ullin Socklight in Zoetic, Fade Street in Sir Davos, and Midnight Sol in 9520 Lys Poudre. But you could also go with this guy and make it even more pink if you wanted, which is 9526 Gamel Rosa. Okay, and then if you didn't want that and wanted another Ullin Socklight, I thought Underwater Ballet would be absolutely beautiful as an additional one there, again with either one of these guys as your fluff. Okay, would we have kits for these? I do intend to put kits up on the website for Zoetic. Getting there. So we've got a bit of a queue of kits that we wanted to get up there. The one that went up this week was the Moonwake cowl, because Sarah was making a Moonwake in a different yarn, and I was just like, oh my god, that would be absolutely perfect in Nua worsted. So that kit went up. There was another kit. Oh yeah, the no sign of the fresh Camarose yet this week, but we will have the Magnolia Chunky kits back. They're on the way, so it'll be early next week before they're back up as well. So, but Zoetics are in the queue, and there's another one. Oh, Baubles shawl combos as well are in the queue for kitting up. It just takes a little bit of background admin to get those all sorted, and we will do that. Kind of want to make another Zoetic now. You can see I'm sort of reluctant to let these skeins go, but they'll be fine. They are there for you. And Sarah's saying Moonwake Cowl was so much fun to knit. Yeah, I like it's one of those colourwork projects where it's all done in a tube, so you can be fairly casual about how and if you sort of weave in your ends and stuff. So we picked out 2 really nice combinations for that. Baubles combos, the knit along that we'll talk about next week. So if you're looking for fresh kits on the website, you can go into the knitting and crochet kits section and sort by the newest added. There's a little drop down for sorting things, and then you can see what's new as we add things in. Now, speaking of what's new, I do have to do suggestions for shawls for Knitting Pink. Hello, I see you were in Knitting Pink, so you were looking for 2 skein shawls, and I will do those, but I will take a little diversion to some new things. Yay! So you saw the Kremke Soul Wool. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by other questions. So for the MCAL kits, do you mean the iKnit 7 kits? Carol Holy, just if you give me a little bit more information. So Kremke, that's the vegan summer yarn. That's lovely morning salutation. But we also got BC Garn Similia, which is a double knitting 100% wool yarn, 22 stitches using between 3 and 4 millimeter needles from BC Garn, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. We just wanted to get another nice woolly double knitting kind of good practical option into the shop as well, with some different color schemes going on, because different brands have very different aesthetics, and I think this sort of rounds out our range of double knit wools. Excuse me. So take a look at that, really lovely, and it is, although they say on the ball band hand wash, and I would always recommend that you hand wash anything that you've handmade, you can put this in on a gentle cycle in the machine as well if you like. So that is super nice and fresh onto the stocks. So fresh, in fact, we haven't found where we're putting it out on the shelves just yet. So there's kind of boxes that I'm tripping up over as I wander around the shop. And then as well, this guy, which I'm quite in love with, I have to say. It's Hamilton #1, again from BC Garn, and here, just color. So there's 2 massive boxes of that sitting just outside of my line of sight, and it is again 100% beautiful, like kind of that little bit heavier of an Aran waist, so you can go up to 5.5 millimeter needles on this, and really plump and very squishy, and we'll get some samples made up in these fairly soon, but it's 100 meters per 50 grams. These are the brightest shades in the packs, but there's loads of good neutrals as well, and they are from, it's a Danish brand, and all sorts of good things. I felt like there was something else I was going to say about that. Anybody think about what you might want to make in this? Think about ideas, and we will work on getting some samples done. Colors are amazing. They are. Thank you. You have a team looking for dark colors in the... Okay. Leave it with us. I have to take a few more photos today, and I'll see what else we can put together. I'm going to take... because we'll talk about it next week. I'll try and see what I can put together. Okay, so they were some new yarns that landed. And then Knitting Pink had asked for suggestions for 2 skein shawls. So I just pulled out 4 from our kind of back catalogue of samples here. Hopefully there's some inspiration in there, and we'll see how you get on. Oops. Okay, cool. So this guy, 2 skeins. A good number of our 2 skein, well, 2 out of the 4 are a mixture of a more standard yarn with a fluffy yarn, more standard construction. So this is Striped Estian by Stephen West, and I'm telling a lie now, because this is a 3 skein shawl because it's 2 different colors of Fade Street striped in. Yeah, I thought about that one. And then mixed in with ochre in the super holy details of Striped Estian. So I think it's bonfire and spiced plum in Fade Street, and then ochre in Abbey Lace is that one. So sorry, Nathan Penka, I made it a 3 skein project, but you could probably make 2 of those out of the amount of yarn that you would have. And then kind of a classic and easily accessible in front of the telly shawl is this guy right here, which is a pattern by Justina Lorkowska called the Feile shawl, and I'll spell it because it's Feile, an Irish word meaning kind of festival celebration. So Feile, and it uses 2 skeins of Fade Street 4-ply. I'm glad you like it, that's good. So that is, I'm holding it off camera, that doesn't help. So as you can see, it's a nice long, kind of gradually stretched out triangle. So that's very, very easy and straightforward to do with slip stitches. Boom, dropping them on the floor. And make sure I'm holding this up the right way. This is At First Light by, I'm not, am I? No. At First Light by Vera Valimaki. So not Feile, no, it is Feile. I know you're thinking about my dog, are you? So that is using, again, sorry, it's all Fade Street and Abbey Lace basically. Memories of the Drip to Tip, yeah, exactly that. And then, oh yeah, Stripe Study from Sarah as a suggestion. Oh, there's loads and loads, but it's nice to see examples up here. So this is At First Light by Vera Valimaki. In fact, a ton of Vera Valimaki stuff, loads of 2-color beautiful things. So check them out as well. Thank you. And then if you're going for something a little bit more involved, if you like a bit of detailing, then we have the kits up there for the Ashling shawl. Oh, sit back so you can see, it's gorgeous. And this is only 2 skeins, which for the size of it, it's just that lovely shallow crescent that gets you loads and loads of fabric and lots of stuff to wrap yourself in. So that's Ashling, Aisling, the Ashling shawl by Justina Lorkowska. That's that. So that was 4 2-skein shawls. Well, sorry, 3 2 skeins and 1 3 skein. My kid would be impressed with my maths. So I hope that's some bit of inspiration for you. And doing convoy cowl for 2 skeins, yeah, loads and loads of options. That's just one of our Ashling samples as well, Eileen. There's we have a couple of different options on that as well. So easiest to wear a shallow shawl. Yes, it is, Laylee. Yes, it's gives you loads of options. Now, so the other thing, yeah, we had those 2 requests. I can't spell any day. So we had 2 requests for oh wait, Nancy wanted to see Alpakina. I'm gonna grab a couple of skeins of that and then I'll take you over to the cobweb lace for the last wee bit. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so a lot of interest in sock yarn lately. This is, oh, it's so soft. This is the squishy Alpakina. Yeah, it's spelled that way, backwards. And it's from Katia, and it is a 75% alpaca and I'm gonna get that right now actually. Yeah, and 25% polyamide yarn for socks. But you can, I mean, don't don't be stuck in a rut. You can use it in shawls, you can use it in accessories, in a garment. It'd be absolutely beautiful. So that is just one of the colors, and you can see how beautifully fluffy it is. It comes in some reds there as well. I've only just managed to grab 4, but loads and loads of options there, and you'd have plenty in one skein for a pair of socks. They go to 360 meters in a skein. Katia mini sock skeins. I can grab a few of those too. Look at the cuties. Look at them. So they kind of misbehave a bit on the shelves. That's a yarn shop owner problem, where you're trying to make them look all pretty and they just want to kind of fall into each other. So if anybody's got creative solutions for those, let me know. I think there's about 16 shades of these little minis, but you can use them, mix them in with other things, use them for color work. You can, again, don't be limited to socks. They're 4-ply. You can work away with them in other projects. 16 shades of those and little 25 grams, and they have got 100 meters in them, which makes sense. Colors, yeah, it's all about colors. I've just we like that. We like giving people options. What we need is a squish index. Nice. Yes, I like that plan. Yeah, I know you want the toucho vision, where you're just gonna have to trust me when I say squish factor high, very high on Alpakina. Obviously, yeah, these are 10s. All of these fluffies are 10s. And then cotton cord, whoosh, macrame cord. Less so, but also serving a very good purpose. So yeah, I will get into that. I wanted to show you, actually, I think it'd be a really good idea for anybody who's interested in macrame, because again, when you're looking on a website and you're looking at specifications and kind of going, oh, well, that's 500 meters and this is so many grams and how much and what am I going to need for a project? So just side by side, I'm going to grab one of the Rico macrame cords and just show you the different thickness and relative kind of sizes as well, because I think that's helpful. Okay, so there you go. So the Rico one is definitely a little bit thicker, but it's also a smaller cone as well, so you're going to need a few more if you're going to be doing a very involved project or anything like that. It's just 25 meters in this guy. But it is 100% cotton, isn't it? It's premium quality, 100% cotton. And then these ones is, they're recycled cotton and polyester and other fibers, 10% other fibers mix. But you are getting 500 grams and 100 meters in that, okay? So just so that's useful if you are shopping online and you see them side by side and see which ones are more suited for your project. Great. Now, for all of you lovely peoples who are looking for the cobweb lace, we're going to go over there. I'm going to try not to trip up over any boxes, and you're going to close your eyes so you don't see how messy the shop is. Okay, thanks. Now I'm checking on you. I see 1 or 2 other questions there too, so hopefully I can get to those in a minute. Now, yeah, I'll just keep looking at you so you don't look at the shop, and I will turn you around. Hang on. Okay, so this here is our wee selection of the cobweb lace. As you can see, lovely little thin 100% merino on cones. And the color range is so good. So it's all of this bottom one is the cobweb lace, and then it goes up into these reds here as well, reds and yellows, and then we start getting into the sparklearkle. That's the technical term, sparklearkle. Stellaris. So you can use these together You can do 2 strands of this and 1 strand of that. You can mix up your colours and get an overall marl by like saying, let's put that sage with this grey over here and throw in a little bit of this. And trying to do this with one hand. Oh look, I can put them on my fingers. You could make your own yarn just with those 3. Custom. I like it. So you could do all of that. And they are, I'm guesstimating that if you held 2 strands together and worked on 3.25mm needles, you'd get a really lightweight, it's kind of equivalent. You could knit it as a 4-ply, but it would still be a little bit more transparent, because it is super, super, super fine. But it makes a nice option for customizing yarns that you already have, or adding in, or even what I'm still doing more swatching at the moment, but where we were talking about fades and stuff last week, if you have a couple of colours that aren't quite toning the way you want, to actually hold 1 strand of these behind all of the colours as you fade, and then you're going to get this overall consistent finish on your project, which I think is really kind of clever. So that is that. If anybody has questions about it, let me know, because I know there was definitely a few more people that wanted a closer look at it. Let's see. Information. Wash soap. Yeah. So 625 meters per 50 grams. Absolutely tons and tons and tons in there. Would adding 1 strand significantly affect age? I'm going to say no. I don't think so. I think you could work away on that and carry the 1 strand behind whatever you were working with, and you would be absolutely grand to keep going. If you use 2 strands, then you're going to get into having a change in gauge. So that is those. I will turn you around again. How much are I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sorry. We will check that. There's our butterfly. Oops, that way. It's the butterfly shawl, which is from Earth Yarns, and the unique fingering, which is self-striping as you go. Is it quite rough and feel? It's not super rough. They do have a note on their website that says, because it's not pre-washed, it doesn't feel as soft in the skein. Thank you, Sarah. The cobweb lace is $11.50. But I didn't find it to be particularly rough and feel at all, no. I was swatching away and I was holding it with some other soft yarns and stuff, but I didn't feel that was an issue. And it does significantly, they say significantly soften, strands up here, after washing. If you knit Soetic with 1 plain and 1 variegated fingering yarn, would you need to use a variegated mohair plain? Totally up to you, Deirdre. Completely down to swatch them and see what you like the look of. The world is your oyster on that front when you're mixing yarns. See what you think. Play around. Is the sparkle smooth? It's not scratchy. Not 100% smooth. Excuse me. But definitely not as scratchy as it would have had the potential to be. I find, let me see, where is it? Yeah, down here. No, it's sort of, trying to describe it because the sparkle is in there, but no, it's very flexible. Do you know what I mean? It's not rough through the hands as you work with it. Oh, you made a butterfly shawl. Very good. They are lots and lots of fun. Love seeing all the colours go come through. It's one of those, I'll just do one more bit knits, because you just have to see what happens with the yarn as you keep going. I love it. Butterfly, Soetic, quite rough. Sorry, I saw another question back there. What would you use cobweb lace for in tree, just to add to other yarns? Not only, I mean, we did have somebody getting in touch because they wanted to make one like an heirloom baby shawl, like a Shetland cobweb shawl. So you can absolutely use it singly if you like. I'm just kind of suggesting it. I think most people would want to mix it with other yarns, just to keep, I don't know, to have a project done this side of next year. What you can substitute a DK weight yarn for the love notes? Yeah, you can, and there's lots of pretty options on that. Thanks, Sarah. Great. Okay, I think I've covered everything today. We're just coming up on the hour now. When will circular interchangeable sets be back in stock? Which particular brand are you after? We have some Knit Pro coming next week, I'm hoping, and ChiaoGoo might be 3 weeks or so before we'll have more sets. And if you tell us which particular one you're looking for, we can hold it for you, and or if you sign up to get a notification on the website, if you go on and something says out of stock, click the variation, and then you can sign up, pop in your email address, and it'll be let know. We don't stock any circular needle sets, so Addy needles by themselves I think are lovely. Their interchangeable set I never got on well with, because of the bump in it. Sorry, it's just not my thing. So that's grand. So we have ChiaoGoo sets and Knit Pro sets, and let us know if there's anything that is missing from that you would like, and we'll make sure to get it in the next time. So no worries. It's always good to be able to watch them back. Kinitala. That's it's the beauty of the system, and hopefully you find some useful stuff or some stuff that's entertaining from today. Yeah, I have more tidying up to do, but we will get on with that. And do keep asking your questions. It's brilliant. I love coming in and having kind of just loads of content to work with, because otherwise I'd be sitting here going, so. Thank you for watching. We will be back next week. And Jenny will, somebody's supposed to be studying and watching me instead. Listen, I hold no responsibility for this at all. Good luck in your exams. So Jenny should be with me next week. I really hope so. And we will show you more colours and hopefully give you more inspiration. And we will talk to you then. Take care. Have a great week. Bye bye.